Alright gang, welcome to the competitive one-tile challenge with my friends Rusty Money Gaming and Crust2. This is going to be a fun challenge. Now, we do start with a little bit more money than we did last time we did the one-tile challenge. As a matter of fact, we started with more than what I'm actually starting with now, and if you watch the other guys' playthroughs of the first episode, you will probably see different amounts of money for each of us with our starting amount. Now, we did start with over 200,000 technically, but we've been given free reign to do whatever we want with that starting money. I have spent a little bit of money, well, kind of on some decoration here, which I understand this is a competitive challenge. I probably shouldn't be doing decoration, but I want my yard to still look like a farm to an extent, so I spent a little bit of money on that. But we still have $176,000 to play with, and we got quite a bit of land here as well. So let me kind of talk you through what we got here. Well, first of all, we've got this nice little Lizard HL 1500 trailer. We've got a shed here, which all three of us were required to put down a shed like this. There were three different options, three different color options to choose from. I went with this darker gray, black, rustic looking color here. We start with an HDB4 Lizard double bar mower. It's a hydraulic mower. It's pretty nice. Same one that we kind of utilized in the very first one-tile challenge, so we're bringing that back a little bit. Our tractor is fantastic. We've got a MB-trac Turbo 900. Now, this is from the Mercedes-Benz DLC pack. We're all starting with this tractor as well. And that's pretty much all we are required to start with. Now, I went ahead and already put down what looks to be a greenhouse, but it actually is a greenhouse that's been converted into a chicken coop. No chickens in there yet, obviously, but we will get that going today. And then, as I kind of mentioned already, we've put down a fence with some light work here in the yard area. Now, we are relatively all similar locations to the shop. The shop is down there. There is a nice road going through there, and as you can see, Rusty is literally right next to me, and he's already getting going. He's got all kinds of stuff down already, and Crust2 is way out there in the distance. If you look at the little reticle there, a little circle, you can see his shed. We all picked the same color shed, which is kind of interesting and ironic, but yeah, that's what we start with, gang. So what are we going to do here? Well, really, we have got to do everything we possibly can to try to beat these guys. This is a competition, right? Now, it is a friendly competition. As I mentioned, I spent some money on the fence work and the light work because I want this to look good, but it is a competition nonetheless. So, as far as our land goes, obviously we start here. We don't own this, unfortunately. I might ask Crust2, or Rusty, excuse me, I think it's Rusty next to me, if he'll spend a little bit of money for me and make this look a little bit better so I can actually have a connection to the road here. But if not, it is what it is. There's not much I can do about it. But this is our yard area that I've placed down, and then we've got pretty much this whole entire section here. Now, it looks pretty big, and it is. It's slightly bigger than the one we had on Farmlands, but it's not much bigger. And that's what we got, right? So we've got $176,000 in the bank right now. So what we're going to do, first thing first here, is we are going to head up to the shop, and we are going to grab some food, and we're going to get some chickens into our greenhouse. First thing first, that's what I want to do. I want to get the chickens going. They are going to produce money for us as we move along. It is August. It's late in August already, as it is, as you can see. So we need to make sure we've got some money incoming here for the winter months. We do have a $500,000 loan that we have to pay off. So we're going to be incurring that $500,000 quite often. As a matter of fact, it's going to come into play pretty daggone quickly. If I can get to the right menu here. There's our $500,000. So we can utilize this money to start paying off a little bit of that right now if we want to, if we think it makes sense. But first things first, we want to head up here to the shop. I need to modify this trailer into a bale trailer because I want to add or put on the chicken food on here so we can get those chickens up and running. Once those chickens are up and running, we will start mowing the grass, and then we've got to make a decision on what we're going to do with that grass. Now, I'm likely going to be turning that into silage almost immediately, but that is obviously something we're going to have to do as we move along here. I'm going to turn this on because I don't exactly remember where I need to go to edit this. All right, we're up here. We're going to go ahead and get this modified. So we're going to customize this into the bale trailer. So we'll go ahead and do that. It won't cost us anything to do that, which is nice. And I'm going to turn all this off. I don't need this on, I don't think. So we got that. Now we need to go ahead and buy some of that chicken food. And the nice thing is we have a community forklift here that we're going to be able to utilize to help us whenever we buy stuff. So that's pretty nice. It's going to help us out tremendously. We are not allowed, just a quick note, we're not allowed to buy anything from the used market in the first episode. Moving forward from that point on, it is first come, first serve in that market. So literally you can buy whatever you want at that point. I'm going to buy quite a lot, I think. I'm going to buy 6. Let's buy 6. 9 grand. It's a lot of money. I understand I'm spending a lot of money right up front here, but I think it's worth it. So we're going to move this over here, and then I'm going to grab the forklift, and we're going to stack these up on the trailer. And we'll head back, and we'll get the chickens going. Chickens are going to be huge for us. They're going to make us a lot of money, especially once we start utilizing the eggs to turn them into other things. Now, speaking of that, production-wise, there's not really a specific limit on productions besides the fact that we don't want to utilize anything that's too unrealistic. So what we're going to do to get around that is if we happen to utilize a production that is moving a little bit too quickly for us, an example of that is kind of what I put in the post. An example of that would be, you know, if we utilize some kind of a silage production and, you know, that grass is being turned into silage in hours, right? We're not going to allow ourselves to do that. What that basically means is if we get to a situation where that is happening, we are not allowed to sell any silage that is being made the same day. So, in other words, if I put the grass in there today and it makes me a ton of silage today, I'm not allowed to sell that. I have to wait until the next episode, or the next month in this case, and then I can sell it from there. Does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense. Let's see if I can push these forward a little bit here. Maybe not the smartest thing to do. No, I don't think that was the smartest thing to do. I think that actually made it worse. That did make it worse. Well, this is going to be a problem already. But we'll get it figured out. We'll get it sorted out. Anyway, how's everyone doing today? I hope you're all doing well. I am still dealing with a bit of the after effects of some kind of sickness that I had. I'm on medicine at this point, and the cough is just lingering, really. They think it's some kind of... They weren't positive in this statement, so I shouldn't say they think. But they're treating me for basically kind of like a pneumonia type of thing. So if I have to just randomly do a jump cut, as I did already at the beginning of the episode here, that's the reason why. It's not because I messed up specifically. I might have, but it's not because I messed up specifically. It's just because... you know, I get into a bit of a coughing fit, and I don't want to blow your eardrums out or anything right now. Hopefully, it'll be gone by the time the next episode comes. But you know, it sounds like and looks like I'm going to be dealing with this a bit through Thanksgiving, so that's a little unfortunate. Now, my main goal here at the beginning, and I'm sure it's probably going to be most of their goals as well, is I'm going to actually do a bit of I'm going to go a bit of a more probably boring start. And what I mean by that is I'm probably going to be doing a lot of mowing. We've got a lot of grass that can be mowed, and instead of just placing a bunch of stuff down and kind of, you know, wasting what I would call, you know, the crappy grass or whatever I normally call it, if you've watched any of my other series, I'm going to mow that grass up, and we're going to at least make some money off of that from a silage perspective. And then once it's mowed, then we can start, you know, expanding and putting down, you know, fields, etc. Right? It is August, so we've got to be very cognizant of the fact that we don't have a whole lot of months here before it's going to be winter, and you know, that loan is going to be hurting us pretty severely at that point, right? So we've got to be very, very careful about that. So that's one of the main reasons why I wanted to get these chickens going. So let's talk a little bit more about the details of this, in case you just stumbled across this and have not watched the original one-tile challenge and don't know how this works. So really the goal here is to try it, well, since this is a competitive one, is to try to beat, in this case, Rusty and Crustu at having more money at the end of the series. So the way it's going to work is we are not allowed to sell this tractor that we have now. We're not allowed to sell the trailer that we're utilizing now, and we're not allowed to sell the shed. We are allowed to move the shed later on if we feel like it'd be better utilized somewhere else, but we're not allowed to sell those. The tractor, we are full reins allowed to sell that if we want to. But everything else cannot be sold. Now, how am I going to get these off here? I didn't think that through. I don't know how I'm going to get these things off here. I might have to figure something else out here, because that is not going to work, is it? Whoa, we just did a slide there. This tractor doesn't have a whole lot of horsepower, I'm going to be completely honest with you, and we're probably going to be trying to get a bigger one pretty quickly here. Oh, there it goes. Alright, it's working. Never mind. I just had to get over the actual trigger for it. Alright, so, the chickens should be good. There we go. There's not a ton of food in there, but there's enough, right? There's enough for us to get started. So let's go ahead and buy some chickens here. I am going to buy a rooster. I know a lot of people say it doesn't really make a difference, but I'm going to buy one anyway. I'm going to buy some actual chickens that are in a much better spot so they can actually start reproducing for us. Now, I don't want to buy too many up front because I do want them to reproduce. I want to, you know, make a lot of money off of that. But I think I'm going to buy... I think I'll buy... I was going to say 50, but I don't think 50 is quite enough. Let's buy 73. I know that's an odd number, but that's just slightly over 4,000 that way. Let's do that. Alright, so the chickens are in. I'm just going to move this out of the way for the time being, but the chickens are in. They're happy in there in their little old greenhouse converted into a chicken coop. Now, everyone that's taking this challenge on, when I say everyone, Crusty and Rusty, both of their channels will be in the description. So please make sure you go check out theirs, see how they're doing, see what they're doing, see how they're doing, all etc., etc. Please make sure you go give them some support as well. We will do some just very minor flyovers kind of at the end of the episode to see how and what they're doing, just to kind of give you a perspective from that. But I'm not going to go into any further detail than that. You will just need to watch their channels to see anything else. But yeah, that's where we're at, and we're getting started here with the mowing. Now, I'm not going to mow this whole field today. That would be insane. But we are going to mow a good chunk of the field here, and really what I'm trying to do here is kind of make a bit of a square here, and we're actually almost to the end of our square, which was a lot faster than I thought it was going to be. But basically, we're going to try to make a bit of a square here, and then that way we can, you know, turn this into a crop field or whatever we decide to do with it. But we can kind of try to keep this a little bit more reasonable for us to be able to manage, if that makes sense. Now, what are we going to do with this? Well, there's a couple options here. I don't think I'm going to utilize the silage pole. Maybe I should, because it's very inexpensive, and we've utilized that in the past. We utilized that in the one-tile challenge. We definitely will be utilizing some of the things from the original one-tile challenge, but I definitely want to keep it fresh and new, if that makes sense, right? So, we'll see, I guess is how I would put it on what we might utilize from the one-tile challenge. There definitely will be some crossover there, but it won't be as much as you might expect. I definitely want to do some different stuff. I've learned a little bit from the process of doing that one, right? So I want to try to incorporate that as we move along here. Now, I think the last time when we did the one-tile challenge, when we started, the grass was not at a level where it could have even been mowed in August. And I don't think I really started off with doing a whole lot of mowing in August either. I kind of went about it the wrong way. I think this is the best way to go about it. I think this is the smartest way to go about it, because this is going to be a constant income for us here during the winter months especially, right? So I kind of want to get, you know, this little section here mowed up, and then I want to kind of focus on, probably in the next episode, plowing the field up and then putting, more than likely, canola, I think, in the ground. In whatever the size field it is that we decide to go with here. It may not be this exact size that I'm doing here. It might be bigger, it might be smaller. I don't know yet, but that's what I think I'm going to focus on doing. And then that way we still have some other grass that we can mow during those winter months. When those winter months come, it is going to be probably a little difficult. That's where a lot of the difficulty of this challenge is going to come into play, right? We're going to have that loan that we have to deal with, but we're also not going to have a whole lot to do. So we're going to have to figure out things to do in the process, right? Now, you might be saying, well, why don't you just upgrade that mower right now? What's the point of utilizing this small mower when you have under $63,000? You're right, we could. There's a chance that we might. But you also got to factor in the fact that for this mowing, we are going to have to get a windrower, right? Those aren't specifically cheap. We're also going to have to get a, whether it's a loading forage wagon type of thing or a baler or what it is, we're going to have to do that as well. which is going to cost us, you know, a pretty penny too, right? So, but it's going to be interesting to see how each of us take this on, right? We're all probably trying to go about it a different way. From just looking at Rusty, to me, it looks like I'm going completely different way than he is. Looks like he's going pretty heavy on doing animals and then pretty heavy on just setting up the fields right off the bat instead of mowing. This is a great map. This is on Farmlands. I don't think I've talked about that. The map for this is Farmlands, and I don't think I've talked about the full details yet. It was put into the post that I made on the channel, but I will pull those up. Pull those up. I will pull those up in just a moment, and you can actually see what, you know, all of the finite details are of this challenge. It's very similar to the very first one we did. Very, very similar, as a matter of fact. The only difference is, you know, the competitive nature and a little bit more money to start with than we did the first time. And the map, of course, right? But everything else, for the most part, is going to be there. We are on hard difficulty, so I'll kind of go through it here real quick. So we're on hard difficulty. Seasonal growth is on 1 day per month. Snow's on. Crop destruction's on. We do not have periodic plowing or fieldstone on for this series. That is one modification we made. Other than that, everything's as you would expect. Lime is on, weeds are on, disasters are on, you know, everything else that we always do, that is always on. The hard difficulty is definitely going to play a big role as well, right? So we're not going to make a whole heck of a lot of money because of the hard difficulty. But it's going to be a good one, man. It's going to be a blast. I cannot wait. The guys were really excited about it. They've been thinking about it all week, is what they said. So I'm interested to see what ideas and what they come up with. I think right now what we're doing is the smart play here. I think this would be a relatively large field, honestly, if we decide to go this size, and we very well might, minus a little bit of, you know, buffer for some, you know, tracks and things like that we're going to put in. Because we're definitely going to be doing that. We're going to add some tracks between the different fields and stuff. Now, when we did the initial one-tile challenge, the way I went about it was a little bit different than we're doing here. And by a little bit different, what I mean is we kind of started our yard smack dab in the middle. This one, as is, you can see Rusty's literally on the other side of me, we're kind of starting on the very edge of our boundary. Whether that's right or wrong, who knows? We'll figure that out, I guess, as we move along. But that is what we're starting with, at least this time. A little bit of a different perspective. Now, as far as what windrower we're going to get, I'll be honest with you, I haven't even really looked. I don't know what choices we have out there for us from a windrower perspective, excuse me. So we're going to have to figure that out as we get a little closer. I don't want to look in the menu too long right now because this isn't the largest of fields, and I don't really want to mow that area over there, as I mentioned, yet. You know, eventually, what we're going to likely be doing here is we're going to have, I don't know, 5, 6 fields. One of those will be kind of a dedicated grass field, at least for quite a while, I think. Because I think that is going to continue to obviously produce us a little bit more money, a constant inflow of money, and I think it's going to be extremely needed, required, useful for the winter months until we get more of this loan paid off, right? Now, the interest itself is not going to be awful. It's going to be $3,000, $4,000 a month, around that, which is a lot, and it's going to come, like I said, fast and heavy. Before you know it, it's going to be playing a bigger role. So we definitely need to get a good start here. Now, what I'm going to do is there is a production, like silo type of thing for silage that we're going to utilize. I've wanted to utilize it for a while. It just hasn't worked out. We're going to utilize it here. Now, I could, as I've mentioned before, I could get that silage pole that we utilized in the very first one-tile challenge way back when, which is significantly inexpensive. It's like $2,000. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go with this other one. It's like $18,000, $20,000, something somewhere around in there. We're going to go with that. The reason why we're going to go with that is because, quite frankly, I want to try something different. Now, I think that one I'm going to put down, if I looked at it correctly, I think it is one that is maybe a tiny bit unrealistic when it comes to mowing the grass and turning that into silage. So, as I mentioned, the rule there, and all three of us agreed to it, is if we do put down a production or we want to utilize a production that is like that is a super unrealistic perspective where the grass will be turned into silage in seconds, we're not allowed to sell any of that silage it made from the grass you put in there that same day. You have to wait until the next month or the next episode in this case. There's just a little bit of a kind of a constriction on it, a little bit of a rule to help us as we move forward. Rusty has got a ton of stuff down there. I can't really see what Crustu has done. I have no clue what he's doing over there. But once we get to the end of the episode, like I said, we'll do a quick flyby on everyone and just see what it looks like, and kind of go from there. But I don't want to give any more away than that. I'd prefer you just to go and really, kind of support the other two and watch their channel, which I would think most people that are probably watching mine probably at least at some point have watched theirs. So hopefully you will. All right, so we're almost done here, and once we're done with this, and once we figure out what we're going to do as far as the windrower goes, and whether it's a baler or a forage wagon or whatever it may be, once we figure all of that out, we'll probably do a bit of a time lapse for that windrowing and for picking it all up. We're going to spend a lot of money here. We're going to spend a little bit of money here, though. The windrower, the loading and forage wagon, and then our silage production that we're going to put down. Those are all going to probably get us down to or lower than $100,000 remaining in the bank. So it's going to get a little scary there at that point once we get to that amount. But like I said, we do have more than we started off in the first one. The first one we did, I was struggling for the first, handful of episodes or so, 10 episodes, I guess, even could possibly be in there as well. But we were struggling because I kind of, I underestimated the loan, interest coming into play as I continued to buy stuff that I had to utilize, right, that I needed and required, right? Now, I'm not going to do, a fence line all the way through our entire land, but I am going to probably, continue that fence and light kind of perspective there that we've started in our yard whenever we expand the yard and do things like that. I'm probably going to continue to do that. I like the way that it looks, so we're definitely going to probably be considering that one for sure. What else can we talk about on this series that we need to talk about that we haven't talked about yet? I think that might be pretty much it. We don't have a silo. We don't have a harvester. We don't have any of that, right? So we're going to have to pay for all that, and that is all going to be paid. It's all going to come down the line pretty quickly here. Now, we are going to have a little bit of time, I guess, for this grass to be able to try to make some money. We do have a couple of options from the inexpensive harvesters, which we likely will be partaking in, at least initially, I would think. There is an old school John Deere that I had thought about utilizing for the Vintage Survival series and didn't end up doing so. But that is an option, and I believe we have that one installed for this series. So we could potentially go with that. But we'll see, right? We'll see. We'll get to that point when we get to it. But we definitely need to get a good section of this mowed up, so that way we can place down some more stuff, and without feeling like we wasted a little bit of opportunity to make more money by doing the mowing here. So what do you guys think? You guys excited for this series? Well, let me know. Bit of a shameless plug for myself, but if you want to see this series access to watch this series early, my members get that access, so if you're interested in that, it is a link down below for that as well. Shameless plug. Now, I say we, Crustu, Rusty Money Gaming, and myself, are doing the recordings for this series on Tuesday nights. It will not be released until Saturday. All three of us are kind of doing a simultaneous release schedule on Saturday for this. Actually, you know what? I'm going to mow over here, too, because I think the silage area I'm going to put... I think I'm going to put it over here. I think it makes sense to stick it over here in the yard area. So I think I'm going to mow this by the yard as well. We can kind of get this kind of cleaned up as well. So we'll just mow a little bit more here. We'll kind of go to the end here. Still going to leave a good chunk of grass that has not been mowed. I would say more than half for sure. It's still going to be remaining to be mowed, if you will. Let's do a bit of a jump cut here. I'm going to get the rest of this done. I'll be right back with you. Alright, we're almost done here, gang. Just a few more passes, and then we will, like I said, grab a windrower, and then I think we're going to go forage wagon approach, gang. I was thinking about doing bales, but I think I'm going to go the forage wagon approach, mostly because we don't have any way to pick up those bales as it currently stands, besides utilizing a bit of what we can do with super strength, which we don't have that option installed here. We only have the ability to pick up bales and pallets by hand. We don't have the option for anything else right now, unfortunately. Now, this mower, when you fold it up, unfortunately, which we didn't realize until we had already kind of started here, does not actually fit into the shed. So that's a bit unfortunate, but it is what it is, I guess. There's not really a whole lot we can do about it. So for now, I'm just going to kind of park it over here, if I can back it up properly. Now, I have no idea where the eggs spawn on this thing. I probably should have looked at that. It's probably over here on this side where I'm at right now. So that might actually be in the way. Here, let's do a quick autosave here. And let's see. They do. That's what I thought. Alright, so that's fine. We just got to be cognizant that we're going to need to give ourselves a bit more room on that side, which will take a little bit away from that field that we're going to potentially make there. But that's okay. So let's head to the shop here and let's see what we can find. Yep, Rusty is already beginning to make fields. He's going hardcore in the fields, which is perfectly fine, probably smart. Windrower-wise, there's not a ton for us. I think what I'm going to go with... Let me slow down here for a minute. I think I'm going to go with this one. 8.2 or 8.4. I guess this one's slightly better. I don't really want to spend any more money on that. 4.7 I think is just a little bit too small for us. I think it's one of these two. I don't know. I kind of like this one better. I'm going to go with this one. It's a little bit more, but you're getting 0.2 meter width larger, right, if you will. So we're going to get that windroad up, and then we want a forage wagon. I think that's what I've decided to go with, right? This is not cheap, as you can see. I think I'm going to go with this one, and the silage tanks added. We definitely want that, so it's a little bit more expensive. We're going to have to buy silage additive as well, which we don't currently have. Alright, so there's no Michelin. Everyone knows, if you've been around for a while, that I'm a big Michelin fan, so... we're going to have to make a decision. I like chunky tires, in case you just stumbled across this and have not watched any of my other ones. So I'm probably going to go with these Vertistines here, because they are super chunky. There is a twin wheel option. I don't really love twin wheels, so I've never really been a big fan of those. I think we'll just keep everything else as is. So 35,800, not cheap. So yeah, I told you, that's getting we're already down to $100,000. It seemed like at the beginning of the episode, probably, that we had a ton of money. We really don't. Once you figure out that we really don't have a whole lot of what we need, we really don't have that much money. So let's grab the windrower first, and we're gonna go get at least a good section of that windroad up, and then we'll kind of grab the forage wagon here. We'll buy some... Actually, matter of fact, while we're here, I might as well do it before I forget. I'm going to buy... I think I should buy 2, maybe? You know what? Let's buy one for right now. And if we need to buy another one, we will. But let's buy one for the time being. So we're going to head on up. We're going to get started. We'll put a time lapse in here. We'll get this started. We'll get the grass all windrowed up. And then once we have a full load of grass in our forage wagon, we will be back and figure out what exact silage fermentation production silo type thing we're going to be putting down. So let's get to work. All right, so I went ahead and already put in a load of grass into our fermenter, which I will show you in just a second. We're going to get one more load here, and then we're going to be done for the day. We'll get the rest of this grass up probably off camera. I'll probably do it all off camera. I mean, there's no reason to not put it in there today since we've got it all mowed up. But you kind of saw what I did there, right? I tried to get that area over there kind of cleaned up first because I knew I wanted to put down a fermentation silo over there, and that is what we have accomplished and done. It cost us about $6,000 to do so. Now, I could have put down the silage pole that we talked about in the past and would have been a little bit cheaper. But I wanted to go this approach. I want to go this route. I really like the way it looks, and you're going to see it here in just a second. Now, the reason why you didn't see it when I first put it down is because, well, quite frankly, I did not hit the record button after I stopped the recording for the time lapse there. So that is just a big goof and mistake on me. But you know, it is what it is. Nothing I can do about it now. So we're just going to pick up a little bit more grass here. We're going to get to 100%, and it should take a few seconds. There we go. And now you get to see what I'm talking about. So we are working at night now. It's gotten a little dark, but this is the fermentation silo that I put down. I really like this thing. I think it's fantastic. I like that it has a belt here to unload once the silage is ready. And I kind of like where we put it. Now, it might be a little bit too close to this area here, but if we need to move it later on, we can certainly do so. Obviously, it's you know, it's $5,000-$6,000. Like I said, it's not like it's breaking the bank, if you will. So we're unloading. Now I can kind of show you. I've got it turned on here, the grass silage, and you can see it makes 84,000 cycles per month, which is absolutely insane. So that's too much, right? It's too much. At least I mean, it's already made almost 1,000 liters of silage, and it's only been a few minutes, right? So that's the reason why we have that rule in place, where if we're going to utilize something like this, where it might be a little bit too unrealistic, you've just got to make sure that you don't sell anything that you put in there in the same month. You don't have to wait to the next month, which makes it a little bit more realistic, if you will. But with that, gang, we are going to leave the episode at this point. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, I would greatly appreciate it if you smash the like and subscribe button on the case you have yet to do so. Both those things help me out an absolute ton. Make sure you follow Crust2 and Rusty Money Gaming's progress. Their links will be down below in the description, so make sure you check them out. Watch their videos as well. Give them some support. Give them some love. We do have a pallet of eggs started now, which is fantastic. And yeah, we're going to continue this progress. Like I said, I'll probably get the rest of this grass picked up off camera and put into here. So we'll have a lot more silage in here by the next episode. And yeah, we'll continue on with the progress. Now, before we do end, as I mentioned before, I will give you kind of ooh, we got the lights on now. This actually is pretty cool having those lights on, so I'm glad I actually put those in there. But anyway, I will give you kind of a bird's eye view of what everyone else is doing here. So yeah, it looks like Rusty is doing a pumpkin, I think it's pumpkins. Yeah, it looks like pumpkin. A pumpkin silo, which I'm going to be doing as well. Looks like he's got another silo of some sort in here. I'm not sure what that is specifically. He's got some cows going. He's got his field already started. He's got some lime down. He put a house down, which we probably should do before we end, as a matter of fact. And then what's Crestu got? So Crestu's got himself, looks like a water canister there for his greenhouse, which is nice. He's got, is that a goat enclosure of some sort, or a sheep enclosure, one of the two. And he's already started a field here as well. So things are going well for Crestu. Things are going well for Rusty Money Gaming. It's going to be an interesting start. We're all kind of taking a bit of a different perspective. I went for more of a silage start. It looks like, you know, Rusty's doing a bit more of the greenhouse and then a field and some cows. So kind of a mixture. And you know, Crestu is doing a similar kind of approach where he's doing an animal and then a field, and then he's got a greenhouse as well. So I'm a little bit behind here, but I will do a little bit of work off camera, like I said, getting the rest of this grass up, probably put down a greenhouse or two as well, and then when the next episode starts, you'll be able to see it, whether it's this pumpkin one, which I think is what I'm going to be doing, or something else. We will figure that out at that point. Again, thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much to your continued support. Thank you to my members. Cannot thank you guys enough. Again, if you want to watch this episode early next time, maybe consider becoming a member. You'll be able to see this early, at least 3 days early, if not earlier than that. And yeah, thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for your support. I'll see you next time.